live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today, NFL Week 3 starts tonight. College football Week 4 starts tonight. Yes, there's a game. Charlotte and why am I drawing a blank on who else they play? But there is a game for both weeks of that tonight. Plus, we've got guarantees and we got our surviving on the SS Saile topic. I have a rule for those getting into Survivor that I learned last week and that I've learned in my now 3 years doing Survivor pools. You have to stay tuned on that one. So anyway, today this should be a quicker episode because it's just picks. It's what I like. We have some stuff, which is good. So this episode should not be long today. If it is, well, then it's me rambling too much. And I have a habit of doing that. So I apologize because I like talking on football. So, but if you like hearing me talk on football, I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to start with college football week 4 first because there isn't a lot, but I'll find something. There's about 6 games I want to say I'm picking. Maybe 7. But I'll find something. So let's start off with, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I want to lead into the game of the week. Well, I guess we could start off. Oklahoma at Auburn at Oklahoma. Now, Jackson Arnold travels back to where he played last season at Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a Heisman frontrunner in John Mateer, who I watched against Michigan, and he looked really good. But I've also watched Jackson Arnold play, and Jackson Arnold is not a bad quarterback. He isn't. And I think that this is an interesting game because Oklahoma has a chance to make the top 10 if they win. Auburn's got a chance to make easily the top 15, but they got a tough schedule coming up now where they are in a need of a win. If they lose, it's not going to look good for who they play next week. For those of you wondering, that would be Texas A&M. So, who do I like? Oof. I did bet John Mateer once. He made me look like pretty smart. Jackson Arnold, on the other hand, he also did. When I think I took Baylor over Auburn, I got to go back and look at the tape, but might have even took Auburn against Baylor. I think I did because I just didn't trust Baylor at the time. So I'm 1-0 with both guys, so I got to pick 2-0. I'm going to go Oklahoma. John Mateer, I think he's going to make some plays with his legs. I think he's going to make some plays with his accuracy, his arm, that I think will help Oklahoma win this game. I think it's going to be close. I do. I don't like the over. I could see you trying it if you think both teams are going to score. I was way off on Ole Miss, Arkansas, by the way. That I'll take a huge L on. But for this game, I like Oklahoma 27-23 against Auburn. I do think Mateer, I trust him a little bit more to make some plays. Jackson Arnold, I think, could get that one turnover that I think, you know what, that might decide the game. Oklahoma knows him. I think that's going to serve as an advantage for Venables and company. Oklahoma 27, Auburn 23. Let's go now into Michigan and Nebraska. Now, I didn't watch much of Nebraska this year. I did watch Michigan against Oklahoma, and I thought Bryce Underwood didn't impress me that much. But Matt Rule, look, this is a must-win game for him. Because if you win against Michigan, Nebraska's got to be top 25. And I think Nebraska, this is a very good stretch for them where they can maybe have a good, strong season under Matt Rule. And I think that if they do have a good season with a win in this game, I think Nebraska's got an outside shot at making the 12-team playoff. I'm not saying they're going to, but this is a game that I would call, and you're going to hear me say this a lot on this show, I gotta have a game. Michigan's favored by 2.5 in Nebraska. Now, obviously, Vegas knows stuff, okay? So, I would say, and you know what? You guys make fun of me. I have no upsets. Oh, Rich doesn't take upsets. I'm taking the upset. Take the points with Nebraska. I really think that Michigan has not looked impressive. They only scored 35 against New Mexico, which I know it's game one. Oklahoma, I didn't like what I saw in that game from Bryce Underwood. They beat a low team last week. I forgot who they played. Nebraska, though, on the road, that place is going to be rocking. They know that this is a game they got to have. Dylan Raiola, big, strong-arm quarterback. He can make plays. I do think Wink Martindale is going to blitz him a couple times in this game. That's what he does. I like Nebraska. I like Nebraska 24-20 over Michigan. I do. Because I think Bryce Underwood in that environment, he didn't do well against Oklahoma. I don't think he's going to do well against Nebraska. I don't think that Michigan... I don't think Sharon Moore suspended this week. Last week I know. I don't think it's this week. But I just feel like that Michigan does not have the playmakers that I think they will have against Nebraska. Now, Justice Haynes, he is the guy that I feel like is the key to this game. If Michigan wins the line of scrimmage like they're supposed to in a lot of their games, they win the game. Dylan Raiola, can he make the throws without turning it over? That's another key. And that could go either way. I like Dylan Raiola against the Michigan defense. I think he's going to make some plays. Nebraska, this is a game that they got to have to get into the top 25. And I think Nebraska, honestly, if they win, their confidence goes up. So I like Nebraska 24-20 over Michigan. Give me the 2.5 with Nebraska. I like them even on the money line. So I like Nebraska to win against Michigan in that one. I don't want to guarantee it, but because there's better games I like. And it's not just for college, it's for NFL. But I like Nebraska to win. Miami against Florida. Now, I would guarantee Miami to beat Florida. I feel like, though, it's an easy consensus. I do. Florida under Napier, they are a mess. The question is, when does he get fired and how bad are these blowout losses to ranked teams? Miami is dropping at least 34 points on this team. They are. Carson Beck is playing his way into Heisman candidacy as well. DJ Lagway has looked awful. And I think that Florida, the clock is ticking for Napier. It just depends when they move on from him. I like Miami 34-14. I just think that this is another classic game of, you know what? Miami's flexing. You know what? We're a top 5 team. We're better than you. Yeah, we had that weather delay against South Florida, but we handled them. Florida lost against Miami. Florida lost against USF, who just played Miami. They lost at LSU. DJ Lagway looked horrible. Give me Miami to win the game. I could see a blowout today. I mean, it's easy to say guarantee and stuff. It is, but you know what? I save it for games that are a little more dicey. That's how I like to do it. Texas Tech against Utah. Oof. Okay. Both of these teams I feel like play exactly the same. And Kyle Whittingham's a guy that is weird to go up against because he's a really good defensive coach. His teams are also weird because they play you tough. But you don't know, like, if they can upset you, but sometimes they do. Right? And sometimes they look like a team you go, yeah, they're just Utah. Right? So I feel like in this game, I could see Utah winning. I could. I think Texas Tech is a little better at the quarterback position. I think defensively is going to be the key. Can they win up front against Utah? can their offense get enough points to win this game? Can they get to 23? And can their defense play Devin Dampier and hold them in check? I kind of like Texas Tech's defense. They're pretty damn good. So, I like Texas Tech 23-20. I do. I think Texas Tech is a really damn good team. I think they're right now a really strong favorite to win the Big 12. I think when I predicted my records at the beginning of the year, I think I had Utah winning. But I think Texas Tech is a team that I think could seriously make a run at the Big 12. I like their defense in this game. I just feel like Utah got questions about Devin Dampier to be able to win this game for them. And I just think Texas Tech, more in the quarterback. He's solid. I think they've got some dudes up there. I like Tech to win 23-20 over Utah. Indiana and Illinois. Now, Illinois, remember this, they play home to USC next week at 11 o'clock next Saturday. Indiana is home for this game. So, I don't know if I would say that Illinois is looking past Indiana to play USC because they're home for USC. I wouldn't say that. But I do think that this is a game I could see either team winning. Okay, Illinois is a solid team. Indiana with Cignetti, though, at home with Mendoza, who's not a bad quarterback. I kind of like Indiana a little more in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if Illinois wins. I could see it happening. But I don't know. I'm a little cautious with taking Illinois on the road. I am. Cignetti usually does good at home. I like Indiana in a low-scoring affair. 17-13 over Illinois. Illinois is going to have a really good defense that I think will keep them in the game. But I think Mendoza makes a couple throws to win the game. And I'm not quite sold on Illinois offensively, but 17-13, Indiana beats Illinois. Now, I said Nebraska earlier as one of my guarantees. I got a couple other ones, all right? Now, these are games that I did not pick. Tulane getting 13.5 at Ole Miss. Now, hold on, people. Don't go at me with this, all right? Here's why. Ole Miss plays LSU next week. Okay? They're home for LSU. They want to get them back so bad. Tulane is a top group of 5 team that is sneaky good. They're trying to make a playoff push. Okay? Ole Miss coming off a shootout against Arkansas last week where they scored a bunch of points. All right? SEC play, back-to-back games with Kentucky and Arkansas, right? Tulane, they're like, all right, we could get by Tulane. The real game's LSU. Tulane is no slouch. Okay, they are good. Do I think that they can hang around with Ole Miss? Yes. Take the 13.5. Ole Miss might be looking ahead to LSU. Classic trap game. You'll hear that also on the show today. Tulane, give me the 13 and the hook. I'm taking them. I think Tulane's a good team. They'll hang around. Ole Miss, Simmons has looked all right. I like Tulane plus 13.5. Now, do I not know something when I'm looking at this next game? Because is Sellers out? Did somebody big get hurt for South Carolina? Because why is Missouri favored by 10.5 to South Carolina? Why? Did I miss something? Is Sellers hurt? Because, and I'm going to look it up now, because when I saw this line, I was like, there's no way. Like, why is that so low? And I don't know what's going on because I feel like that's a lot of wood Missouri's laying. That's a lot of wood. Okay. Let's look it up now. Questionable for week 4. Okay, now I understand why it's a lot. Usually when it's like these, Vegas knows something, okay? I'm a little cautious with getting the 10.5 from South Carolina, I'm a little cautious. I think if Sellers plays, I might do it. But Missouri's sneaky good as well. Now that I just looked this up, I don't know. It might be off the board for me. I don't know. I just feel like, for me, when I saw the line, I was like, wow, that's a lot of wood Missouri's laying. And Missouri's good, don't get me wrong, but South Carolina just got blown out by Vandy. I mean, they're going to want to play a lot better. I know their defense isn't great, but 10.5? Wow. I mean, they must be thinking he's not going to play. You know what? I'm taking it. I'm moving it off my board. I don't love this. I mean, now I had it in my notes where I liked it. That line smells. Nope. Cross that off my guarantees. I was going to put this with the Gamecocks 10.5 points. I'm not doing it. Nope. Scratch it off the board. So we're down to 2. Now my third one. Okay, this one I'm confident in. Sam Leavitt, Sawyer Robertson, in Arizona State, Baylor. This is going to be a shootout of points. Baylor looked really good against Auburn. They looked really good against SMU. I think Baylor will score. Arizona State didn't score a lot against Mississippi State on the road. Well, they got a decent amount, okay? But Sawyer Robertson, you could argue, has been one of the top quarterbacks so far in college football. Baylor's not a bad team. Arizona State did not look good against Mississippi State last I remember. So I think in this game, Baylor is favored by 2.5. That's not the bet I'm going for. Give me the over. 59.5, Arizona State, Baylor. I think both teams score. I really like what I'm seeing from Sawyer Robertson. He's going to be a guy that I think Arizona State's going to have a hard time defending. I think he lights up this Arizona State defense. Over Baylor, Arizona State. It might be my favorite play of the weekend. It might be my favorite play because I think both teams score. I do. I just don't see a scenario that they don't score. I mean, he's been balling. I've watched a couple games from him, and I'm like, damn, he's good. He's good. So that's my favorite play for college football. Now, those are my plays. So we got Tulane getting 13.5. We got Nebraska on the money line, and I'm taking the 2.5 too. You can say that's 1. You can say it's 2. You can say now we're at 3. Over 59.5, Arizona State, Baylor. Love it. Love it. Take the over. All right, I don't love the other games because it's more of a sit back and feel type thing for me. I got to see, again, I have some questions on certain teams. Those are the 4 I like for college football. Now, NFL, we're about to get into right now. So let's go into NFL Week 3 picks right now. Now, I know I had an L with one of them. I know. I'll get to it when I remember the team. Okay, I was wrong on my Patriots, okay? But I needed to motivate them a little bit, okay? As you can tell, my voice is getting back to where it is, but still a little, I wouldn't say hoarse, but yeah, a little bit from Sunday. I was going nuts in that game. So, because I was going crazy for them. Let's start off with the biggest spread of the week. The Bills laying 12.5 to the Dolphins at home. They have been on a tear offensively through 2 weeks. Miami could score. Can they score enough? The over and under is listed at 49.5. I like the over tonight. I do. I think that as crazy as this is, I do think Buffalo lights up at least 38 points on this team. I do. Miami, listen, their secondary, Buffalo, is banged up. It is. All right? Now, the Jets are the Jets. Miami, if they have any fight for Mike McDaniel left, it's got to be this week. Now, if they get blown out, let's say like a 45-7 type game, oh, McDaniel's gone tomorrow. It is. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think Miami's going to score. It might be some garbage time points. I think Buffalo jumps out. It's probably a 38-7 lead at one point. And then I think in the fourth quarter, watch, Miami's just going to score points. And you're going to get the backdoor cover on the over. That's what you're going to get. So it's what, 49.5? I actually have a score of 38-20. Bills beat Miami. I'm telling you, Miami will score. The Bills secondary is a little shaky. Okay, they showed it against the Ravens. Now the Jets offensively, a little different. Okay, I do think Miami Tua, they're going to score. I do think Tyreek and Waddle will have some plays in this game. I just think Josh Allen's too much. 38-20. Bills beat Miami. Over. I love in this game. Take the over 49.5. Bills Dolphins. I love it tonight. Packers against the Browns. Keynote. Green Bay plays at Dallas next Sunday night. Okay? Cleveland just got blown the doors off by the Ravens. All right? So, I'm not saying Green Bay's not going to win. They've had 10 and 11 days off from Thursday night. They look really good. I've been saying on the show they're my Super Bowl favorite right now. This is a scary game because Myles Garrett is a guy I think that Cleveland has him as their only chance to maybe have this game close with the Packers. If Myles Garrett wrecks the game, Cleveland can hang in there a little bit. I'm not saying Cleveland's going to upset Green Bay, but I'm saying Green Bay's looking to Dallas next week. Micah Parsons' homecoming. They want to show out for him. They want to get ready for that game. Cleveland just got blown out by the Ravens. 0-2. They need a win. It's your classic trap game. I say Cleveland keeps it close, but at the end of the day, Green Bay pulls away, covers the spread late. 27-13, Packers beat the Browns. Their defense will handle Deshaun Watson with ease. Jordan Love will make his throws. Jaden Reed with that collarbone injury. I need to see if my guy Matthew Golden steps up because I have him in fantasy and he hasn't done anything through the 2 weeks. But maybe with Jaden Reed's injury, it gives him a bigger role on this team. But Cleveland, they will keep it close. Jim Schwartz's defense is also really good. So I think that's why I have it close. Green Bay pulls away late. 27-13. Packers beat the Browns. Colts. Oh, let's go. You know what? Yeah, let's go to what I have written down. Colts play the Titans. Now, Colts are favored by 4.5. And they are 2-0. Titans, though, played tough through 2 weeks, and then the Rams pulled away last week. This is a tease for something later. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts win this game. I don't love it this week. I don't love it. This line is a little weird for me because I feel like, for me, Daniel Jones is the guy I feel like that, yes, he's playing well so far through 2 weeks. But we also know what Daniel Jones was with the Giants. He was a turnover machine. He's a guy that makes a lot of bonehead mistakes. The Titans' defense is not that bad. Don't let the Denver game fool you. They're not bad on defense. They are very good against the run. What do the Colts like to do? They like to run with Jonathan Taylor a lot, and then they'll set up those other receivers like Pierce, Pittman, okay? If the Titans take away Jonathan Taylor and force Daniel Jones to beat him, and he wins, tip your cap to Daniel Jones. Do I love that to happen consistently over time? I don't. However, I do think the Colts have just enough gas in the tank to beat the Titans on the road. 26-20, Colts beat the Titans. I say they'll cover, but I think it's closer than people will give them credit for. This is a really, really weird game. Okay? I do think the Colts win. I think it's going to be tough because the Titans hang tough lately with people. They may be one of the worst teams, but they'll be competitive. 26-20, Colts beat the Titans. Vikings, Bengals. Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Both of these quarterbacks, Burrow and McCarthy, are out this game, so it's the backup bowl. All right? Jake Browning against Brian Flores, though, in that defense, ooh, I don't know about that. I think Brian Flores is a guy that he's looking at that Bengals offensive line and going, oh, they got Joe Burrow hurt last week? Yeah, Jake Browning's in backup? All right, let's see if you can beat me with the blitz. And if you beat me, tip your cap. Carson Wentz, he just can't ruin the game. He can't turn it over. He can't try too much to force things. O'Connell's probably going to preach that this week. I like the Vikings to win because I don't think the Bengals' offensive line's good. I don't think the Bengals' defense is good. I like the Vikings to win this game. They're home. I like them 27-10 against the Bengals. Now, the Vikings might have a defensive touchdown in this game. Carson Wentz might make some throws that I think he'll end up making. All right? But I like the Vikings defense to be the difference in this game. Brian Flores gets to Jake Browning, forces some takeaways. Vikings 27, Bengals 10. New England against the Steelers. So Steelers play at New England. Oof. Okay. Now, I motivated my team last week, but I got to throw some notes in this game because I like to provide you guys with notes. Mike Vrabel is 0-3 against the Steelers as a head coach. Aaron Rodgers is 2-0 against Mike Vrabel, if my memory serves correctly. Okay? The only advantage that I think the Patriots have this week is Mike Vrabel knows Arthur Smith. Why? Arthur Smith was Mike Vrabel's offensive coordinator for a short time in Tennessee. Okay? What does Arthur Smith like to do? Run the ball, feed his tight ends. Okay? But he has Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. New England coming off a big win at Miami, a win they had to have to avoid going to 0-2. Now, if Christian Gonzalez plays, I would like New England in this spot. I would. I am not anticipating him to play. Because apparently, from what I'm hearing, he's had a setback on his hamstring injury, but he was practicing a little bit with the team. It was limited, though. For those of you that don't know, he is New England's starting corner. He is a top 5 corner in the league. I would argue higher, but that's me being not a biased New England fan, but really like him, okay? And I saw a lot of what he did last year when he was healthy. I'm a little scared for this game, but I want to say this. This is an early playoff feel for both of these teams. You know why? Because this game, to me, determines a tiebreaker for the AFC playoff picture down the road. Now, people say New England might not be competitive with the roster, talent-wise. I would argue New England has looked pretty competitive through 2 weeks. Now, one of my friends who's a subscriber, a fan of the show, he complains that his defense is ass. I'm not buying it because I can name 5 to 6 defenses worse than the Steelers. Josh McDaniels, if I know what Mike Vrabel is going to do offensively, he's going to run the ball, he's going to set up play action. Exactly what they did against Miami. Mike Tomlin's a well-coached team. Okay? Steelers will play tough. All right? And I respect both Rodgers and Mike Tomlin immensely. Although, you could say what you want about Aaron Rodgers. But I'm saying in this game, you got a veteran quarterback and you got a veteran coach on the other side. But they're also very good defending the run. And I feel like that the only way that the Patriots win is Drake May has to play like he did against Miami. Can he do it back-to-back weeks is what I want to know. Now, New England's offensive line looked good also. Granted, it was Miami. But they did give up 2 sacks. Who does Pittsburgh have? TJ Watt and Cam Hayward. I'd be a little worried. Considering Crosby affected the game 2 weeks ago. All right? Closer than the experts will say. I'm taking New England 24-23. I think Drake May can make a few throws. He showed some really good upside last week. Really good tape. I think it comes down to, do they target Jalen Ramsey? I wouldn't. He's playing good through 2 weeks. Really good. Let somebody else beat you. Kayshon Boutte, you got to freaking step up again. I want to see more of Kyle Williams. I don't know where he is, but I think he has a big opportunity to thrive in this game. Hunter Henry, tight ends do good against the Steelers. Okay? I want to see if Demario Douglas gets involved. I want to see if Stephon Diggs is going to be, if Ramsey's shadowing him more in this game. I want to see. But I think that the running game is going to be tough to get against this team. If Ramsey's on Diggs all game, New England's got to have Pop Douglas Efton Chisholm, if he plays, well, he's not going to play. So Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry, somebody else has to beat Pittsburgh. One of your guys has got to step up. I think that's a big focal point. New England wins 24-23 against the Steelers. I have a little questions about the Steelers' offensive line a little bit, and I'm a little worried with New England's defense because they haven't stopped anybody really great through 2 weeks either. So I think both teams will score. Okay? Eagles playing the Rams. Now, I want to take the Rams in an upset. I do, and I'm not saying that just because I have friends that are Eagles fans, okay, back when I was in college. I know. But the Rams, they haven't looked great offensively for the most part. Now, last week with the Titans, they pulled away late. Puka and Devontae, I'm thinking last year. Puka and Devontae, second half, they went on a surge. The Eagles, they may not be playing the eye candy football that people are used to. They can run the football, maul you to the ground, and they can play defense. Just look at Kansas City last week. The Rams are traveling cross-country from Los Angeles to Philadelphia. Okay? Now, I would be tempted to take the 3.5. I would. Would I? I don't know. Because I'm worried about Matt Stafford's health. Okay? Now, the Eagles defense, Fangio, he's blitzing more. The Rams have two really good receivers. I don't know if Fangio's going to blitz a ton with those two guys, especially with Sean McVay being able to run with Kyron Williams, but I think the Eagles will stop the run. Matt Stafford almost beat that defense last year. They were one series away from pulling an upset in Philly in the snow. The Rams, to me, are one of my I had them going to the Super Bowl in the NFC before the Micah Parsons trade happened. Okay? And you people are, you know what I mean? So I wrote it down in my YouTube post, okay? So I have the Rams going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles, on the other hand, Saquon Barkley has owned the Rams. The Rams know we got to key on 26. Jalen Hurts, he can make winning plays. We know this. I like the Eagles to win in an under game. This is going to be low scoring. This is going to be defense. I think that Philly can own the line of scrimmage. The Rams front, undersized. Yes, they're getting better, but the Eagles up front, they know what they are. And everybody's caught up in, they're not playing well. The tush push should be banned. They're going to be motivated to freaking whoop this team. But they're not going to whoop the Rams. But they're going to be motivated enough to be like, you know what? We're going to play to what we are. We don't care what the rest of the public thinks. 20-16, Eagles beat the Rams. I'm tempted to take the 3 and a hook with the Rams. I won't do it because I don't trust Stafford with the back injury just yet. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rams pull an upset. I would want to take an upset, but in non-biasly, I'm taking the Eagles 20-16. I just think the Eagles have enough to command the game the way they want. Their offense may not be pass heavy like it was 3 years ago. They're going to run the ball. I don't know if Saquon's going to have that home run like he's had the last 2 meetings with the Rams, but until I see the Rams stop the run on Saquon Barkley and beat this team, I'm taking the Eagles 20-16. That's how I'm looking at this game. Let's go to the Jets and Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay has had 2 fourth-quarter comebacks late in both of their wins. The Jets just got blown out by the Bills. Okay? Now, the Bucs play the Eagles in Tampa next week. The line is set at 7 for Tampa. Favored by 7. Over and under is at 43.5. What did I just mention a moment ago? Tampa Bay is playing the Eagles next week. Are they looking past the Jets thinking, oh yeah, we could beat the Jets. We handle them. But you also come off 2 really, really close wins. Can you pull away against the Jets to get ready for the Eagles next week? I hope you can. But I'm a little scared of this line because I really like Tampa in this game. Then I thought about it. I was like, oh, they play the Eagles next week. And I'll tease this for something else next segment. What happened the last time I took Tampa at week 3? Oh, yeah. It went horrible. Thanks, Bo Nix. So, and the Jets also, Justin Fields is out. Tyrod Taylor's going to play. Tyrod Taylor is a solid backup quarterback. He's solid. So I'm like, uh-oh. I'm a little worried. I like Tampa to win. Do not be surprised if this game is a little closer than people expect it not to be. I think Tampa wins by 7, but I think they're going to hang around the Jets. I do. I think Tampa, for weird reasons, Aaron Glenn's going to maybe give Baker Mayfield a little trouble. Quinnen Williams up front. Okay, Sauce Gardner with either on Mike Evans. Are they going to double Ibuka? I don't know. But I think the Jets hang around in this game. It's your typical classic Jet thing, too. You never know what they do. Tampa Bay wins within the 7, but it's going to be close than people think. 24-17, Tampa beats the Jets. Now let's go to Vegas at the Commanders. Now, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play yet, but if I have to make a pick right now, I have a feeling with or without him, I have a pick. All right? Now, let's go to this line. The Commanders are favored by 3.5. Over and under is listed at 44.5. One of my favorite plays of the entire weekend. One of my favorite plays. All right? I love the Raiders. Why? Why, Rich? You hate this team. Hear me out. This is an upset game. Why? Geno Smith is that fucking quarterback who, by the way, before I start on this, Geno Smith, thank you for selling me in fantasy this week. You fucking sold the game for me. Thank you. You fucking suck. You're on my shit list, all-time hate list. You fucking sold me in fantasy, okay? Because you fucking threw 3 interceptions and you fucking check it down every damn game. Why couldn't we get that version 2 weeks ago? Why? You had to do it against the Chargers? Fucking Geno's all-time on my hate list. Okay? He's up there. All right? Fucking absolutely annoys me. All right? He's that typical, looks good one week, sucks the next. Looks good this week, sucks the next. You can't figure this fucking guy out. Everybody's looking at the Chargers going, the Raiders suck. The Chargers manhandled them, okay? The Commanders might not have Jaden Daniels. So what if Mariota plays? Did you see the Commanders against the tight ends that the Packers had? Tucker Kraft lit them up. Oh, who do the Raiders have? Brock Bowers. Even if Jaden Daniels plays, last time the Raiders traveled up east, they won in New England. Washington does have the rest advantage, yes, but something's telling me you got to pick an upset, Rich. This is the one. Give me the 3 and a hook with Vegas. I love them to win this game. I think Geno lights up the Commanders' defense. Bowers goes off. The Las Vegas Raiders are going to beat the Washington Commanders with or without Jaden Daniels. Guarantee. That's number 1. Yep, the Raiders are going to beat the Commanders. I'm telling you, it's Geno Smith's fucking streak. Looks good one week, sucks the next. Everybody thinks he's ass after Monday night. Nope. He's going to light the Commanders up. And, yep, they're going to drop 28 points. 28-25, Raiders beat the Commanders in Washington. Falcons at the Panthers. Falcons defense so far through 2 weeks. Now, they looked really good on Sunday night against Minnesota. Now, people are going to be like, well, that was J.J. McCarthy. Has Bryce Young looked any bit better, too? I don't know if he has. I don't know if he's looked that much better. So, Atlanta's favored by 5.5 on the road. Over and under is at 43.5. How much of, and I'm trying to find the right word, how much emphasis do the Falcons have of letting Michael Penix throw the football? I love Bijan Robinson. I do. Now, Raheem Morris. Oh, good man. Explain to me why you would take Bijan Robinson out on 4th and inches when you need a first down. The Vikings have yet to stop you with him. Then, here's the salt in the wound. Tyler Algier scores a touchdown when I needed Bijan Robinson for fantasy this last week, and I had a fucking bet on Bijan scoring the first touchdown. Who fucking scored the touchdown, you ask? Tyler Algier. This split back thing, I don't... Oh, why? Why? Thank you, Raheem Morris, for ruining my fantasy and my bets this week. Thank you. Fucking killed me with your stupid, split back thing where you sub one in and, put the other one in. Bijan's your best player. What is this with the fucking subbing him out every fucking 5 plays? What the fuck is this? But Michael Penix, I think they should throw more against Carolina. I do want Bijan to go off. I'm 0-2 in fantasy. I need him to go off. Come on, Bijan. All right? I drafted you number 2 overall. You've done good so far. You're living up to that, but no off days against Carolina. Come on, man. Light them up. You should win this game. Plus, this is a tease for later. 30-10, Atlanta beats Carolina. I think Bryce Young and them, they don't look good at offense at all. Although they did show a little bit of fight against Arizona late. But Atlanta, they look better on both sides. But Bijan Robinson, I don't know how the Panthers are going to stop him. He's going to be a guy that you got to watch. Moving into the last 1 o'clock game, Texans play at Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville, tough loss to the Bengals. Texans, tough loss at home to Tampa. They're 0-2. So, C.J. Stroud, I'm sure D'Amico Ryans is emphasizing how important division games are, especially in this weak division. Jacksonville is not a bad team. They could score. Texans offensive line, I watched them. They're bad. They are bad. But who on the Jaguars scares you on pass rush? Other than Hines Allen. Who scares you? I can't name anybody. Pass rush wise. Trayvon Walker's all right. But nobody. The Texans, Nico Collins against Tyson Campbell. I like Nico Collins a lot more. I'm taking the Texans. There's another upset for you. I don't pick upsets, Rich. It's all right. Texans win 23-21. I think Jacksonville will score. I just don't know if I see a scenario where the Texans go 0-3, although they might not be as good as they were the last 2 years, but also Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen, I don't know what the dynamic is between the two after Lawrence waved him off while Cohen was trying to say, hit him in the chest. You know the video. I don't know if their dynamic is on point yet. And usually with a new quarterback and a new coach, it takes a little getting. Well, Trevor's been around for a while. But I'm saying a new head coach with a quarterback, it takes a little dynamic to get used to, okay? I like the Texans to win 23-21. I don't see C.J. Stroud going 0-3. Give me the Texans. Saints, Seahawks. All right. Let me say this right now. The Saints have played tough these first 2 weeks. Okay? Played the Niners tough, and they played Arizona tough. They got to go to Seattle. 12th man. Seattle, big win on the road at Pittsburgh. They're not a bad team. Mike McDonald's got a really good group. But also, Seattle's got a really good defense against Spencer Rattler. And I've known that Spencer Rattler is not good against good defenses. I think that Seattle, just Darnold, don't muck the game, please. Don't muck the game. This is a game you gotta win. Because if you don't beat them, you're going to be basically borderline top 10-ish draft pick, I'd say, if you lose. But I will say the Saints are scaring me a little bit because of how competitive they've been the last 2 weeks. Okay? But I think the 12th man, I think that's going to be something that Seattle hopefully uses to their advantage. I do think that if Witherspoon plays, I love Seattle. If he doesn't, I'm like, okay, I hope these young guys in the secondary are ready. I like Seattle to win. I think that JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I do think that Cooper Kupp will be able to get open against the Saints. I think Kenneth Walker should have a solid game. Seattle should be able to win up front. I like the Seahawks to win 28-17 on the Saints. I know you're like, Rich, well, you didn't sound like that. You feel confident, but you have been winning by double digits. Yeah, but also Sam Darnold worries me because I don't know what version of Sam Darnold I'm getting. And I need him to not ruin the game. Please, don't ruin the game. I like Seattle 28-17. This is also teasing something later. Cowboys, Bears. Bears are 1.5-point underdogs. The over and under is at 50.5. So Dallas is favored in Chicago. I know the Bears look awful. This is the classic game, though, of drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. Bears played the Vikings tough at home. Dallas played really tough against the Eagles, but they really sweated it out with the Giants. They really sweated it out. Are they going to be able to win on the road? And I feel like, you know what? Everybody's thinking, oh, Dallas has actually been respectably competitive. The Bears stink. This is the mousetrap. Gotcha! That's what they're doing to you. I'm telling you, this is a game where I'm like, nope, nope. My favorite play of the weekend. Over 50.5. Cowboys, Bears. Ben Johnson, it's a point of emphasis for him this week to get Caleb going early, to get him with some plays. Dallas' secondary's banged up. Dallas is going to try to run. Dennis Allen's defense got embarrassed and shredded by Detroit. But Dak Prescott will score on the Bears. Don't let that fool you. If the Bears stop the run, Prescott's going to air it out, which plays into the over game. I think that Lamb, knowing my luck, he'll score against the Bears. Jalen Johnson, the Bears starting corner, is out indefinitely. So both teams have banged up secondaries. What does that tell you? Over. I love the over. Cowboys, Bears, my favorite play of the weekend. Give me the over. 31-30. No, wait. 31-28. Sorry. 31-28. Bears win against the Cowboys. Taking a home dog. Bears beat the Cowboys. Caleb Williams looks really good. Dallas' secondary and pass rush suck. That's why. But both teams score. Take the over. Bears win 31-28. Cardinals, 49ers. Now, this is a coin flip game I'm like tossed back and forth between, okay? I'm not too bought into Mac Jones yet. But the Cardinals have almost blown 2 games this season. Almost made the Saints go to overtime with them. Almost Carolina beat them last week. No, I'm not taking them for Survivor this week. But the Niners beat Seattle close and the Saints close. Arizona is close to blowing leads. What does that tell me this week? It tells me, Rich, take the Niners. I wrote in my notes I was going to take the Cardinals to win. Why, you ask? Because I have no upsets. For the first time, I'm going against my notes. I'm taking the Niners 27-24. I had Arizona in that score, but I'm flipping it. I think Mac Jones is not a bad quarterback with Shanahan's system. Okay, I do think the Niners defense with Bosa can affect Kyler Murray. I do. I am a little worried with their offense not looking too shabby. But the Cardinals let Bryce Young score 22 points. They let the Saints score nearly 20 points. Shanahan can scheme. We know this. Mac Jones, I think, will have some plays. George Kittle, I think, is going to be, Kittle's out. Jennings is banged up. They just signed Kendrick Bourne. CMC is going to have a big role. If CMC stays healthy, you know what? Kittle banged up. Jennings banged up. Kendrick Bourne signed off the street last week. CMC has a big role. Mac Jones just take care of the football. If CMC does that, Cardinals have no answer. 27-24, Niners beat the Cardinals. I'm going against what my notes say. But you know what? It's the first time that's happening in a while. The Chiefs travel to MetLife right here in Jersey to take on the Giants. I want to take them in Survivor, but I'm going to save that for later. There is no way, and I'm saying absolutely no fucking way, the Chiefs go 0-3. Yo-Am's not happy. Yo-Am, I'm sorry. It ain't happening. Okay? My cousin and I were texting this morning because we texting about Survivor picks. I'll tease this later. He told me if Russell plays like he did last week, he can see the Giants winning. Yeah, but do you think the face of the league knows, snap, if the Chiefs went 0-2, you think we're going to have the face of the league be 0-3 in front of the whole world watching on primetime? No. Why do you think they scheduled the Giants on primetime? Because everybody can watch Mahomes and let him beat up on a shit team. The Giants, though, I will say, have a front four that can rattle Mahomes. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter. They got a front four now that can rattle Mahomes. Do I trust that as the game goes on, they could score with the Chiefs? Even with the Chiefs being banked up, I don't trust Russell Wilson too much. I don't. So, I am going to take the Chiefs to win. But I might take the 6 with the Giants. Because I think the Giants won't get blown out. But that front four can hang with them. Neighbors will probably have a shit game. Spags will double him. And I don't trust the Giants' other receivers to do anything. But if the Giants are smart, run the football and play defense, which is what they've been known for over the years. Chiefs 19-16 over the Giants. They get their first win. Ravens, Lions. Lions go to Baltimore. Lions blew out the Bears. Ravens blew out the Browns. The over screams, yeah, take it, Rich. Yeah, you know what? Ravens defense does not look all that. But again, the Lions have a new OC, so I'm a little scared about this game, all right? So the over and under, you're probably like, what is it, Rich? 53.5 points. Oof. So that's saying they got to both score between 30 and 24 points-ish. Could happen. Lions offense is good. The Ravens secondary, though, they got torched against Buffalo. Jared Goff, what's his one weakness? The blitz. Last time the Lions went to Baltimore, they got blown out. So, I like the Ravens to win. I think it'll be a high-scoring Monday night game. 38-31. The Ravens beat Detroit. They go to 2-1. They get right. But I will warn you, the Ravens, the reason this will be close, they got to go to Kansas City in Arrowhead next week. I do think the Ravens are thinking, you know what? We have to win this game, but we have to look good because we got Kansas City. We got to go to Kansas City next week. I like the Ravens, 38-31. All right, let's go through our next topic. Surviving on the USS Saile. And I made this up because I'm doing it like a Titanic ship, okay? Because I want you guys to picture Survivor as like you're on like a Titanic boat. Like, you know there's going to be some, waves that are like really, really crazy, okay? And there's going to be rain, there's going to be thunderstorms, okay? But you're also going to hit some smooth sailing at times, okay? And again, I'm using my own made-up world here because I'm trying to paint the picture for you guys. Now, let me give one rule when it comes to betting NFL Survivor. And I learned this in my 3 years now of doing Survivor polls. Never, ever, ever, ever pick the Dallas Cowboys. Why, Rich? You picked them last week. They make you sweat. They will blow the game sometimes for you. My cousin is a Cowboys fan. My Uncle Al is a Cowboys fan. They will tell you, don't pick the Cowboys in survivor pools. Rule number 2, do not bet the Dallas Cowboys unless it is the most easiest outcome possible. But even then, I wouldn't even take it because they ruined my pool 2 years ago, week 3. They almost ruined it last week. Do not pick the Cowboys in survivor pools. Please don't. You will lose. Do not do it. That's the big rule for Survivor this week that I learned last week and now in the year 3. So let's get into surviving on the SS Saile, the made-up Titanic boat that I have. So it was smooth sailing for the Ravens, my top choice last week. Good stuff. It was wavy and really bumpy for the Cowboys in a hurricane winds type thing. Again, it's my own made-up world when I'm doing this. And then the Cardinals, I almost sweated, so it started to get a little rough. So, who do I like this week? Well, I don't love a lot, but I'll tell you what I like, all right? And I'm going to give it to you in this order. So I think, to me, guys, there's at least a good 7 teams I think, you know what, I could see winning. Really 5, maybe 6, okay? Now, here's my order. My top choice this week, and again, I don't love this. Again, you can flip these. I like Seattle to beat the Saints. Why you ask? Seattle, I feel like, look at their 2 weeks. They played the Niners tough at home. They lost. They played the Steelers really good in Pittsburgh. They won basically on a special teams gap that Caleb Johnson forgot. Oh, snap. It's not the old kickoff rules, where the ball touched his hands and somehow it landed in the end zone and Seattle scored. The Saints have played tough back-to-back weeks against the Niners and against the Cardinals. So they're 0-2 against the NFC West. Seattle, though, 12th man, Sam Darnold, he's the Joker card in this case. He can look really good or can be really bad. Seattle's defense, to me, hinges on, is Devon Witherspoon playing? If he is, I like the 12th man in this case. Because that Seattle secondary, Mike McDonald, I feel like he's going to rattle Spencer Rattler. No pun intended. Okay, I promise I wasn't trying to make a joke. Rattler, rattle. I promise there wasn't a parallel there, but interesting word choice. You get my point, though. Anyway, I think the Saints, they're good. I don't think they're going to hang this week. Seattle, to me, they just got to make sure that Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith-Njigba, they get involved. Kenneth Walker, hopefully they can get running the football going. Their offensive line is more of a run-first line anyway. Mike McDonald is a very good defensive coach. I think they're going to bottle up Kamara and try to let Spencer Rattler win. I don't love the Saints receivers so much, although I'm a little worried about Shaheed and Olave. But I like Seattle to win. I think this is their most winnable game. Maybe until later. But even then, I'm like, I don't know if Seattle's going to win that much. So, I like Seattle as my top choice for this week. If you want to take Seattle, this is the week to do it. Okay? My second choice, and I talked myself out of it and I moved into my third choice. But I'm going to take my second choice. I'm going to take Atlanta against Carolina because I think Atlanta is a good team. Bijan Robinson, they're going to run the football with him. Now, they play Carolina again in Atlanta. I wouldn't fault you for waiting on Atlanta a little bit. I wouldn't fault you, but the name of the game is Survivor. But I'm going to tell you why with my later options, why I would wait on them and why I would take Atlanta. Carolina's awful. All right? Atlanta, their defense, if they play like they did against the Vikings, they should do what they're supposed to do against Carolina. Bryce Young, he looked a little better against the Cardinals. Atlanta, though, Jalen Walker, James Pierce, I think they have 2 edges that can get to Bryce Young. Secondary, AJ Terrell is probably going to take away Leggett or McMillan. I like Atlanta as my second choice. I think Penix will air it out a little bit more. Bijan Robinson. And if anything, I think they're going to let Bijan go off. So I like Atlanta. But I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to wait. My third choice, and this was my second choice initially before today, is Tampa Bay. Now you're like, Rich, why would you say your second choice, but you made him third? What changed? I'm worried Tampa is looking past the Jets because you're like, oh, we'll destroy the Jets. And they got the Eagles. Tampa also plays Carolina and the Saints twice later in the year. You can get them for later in those games. But you're like, well, the Jets just look bad. Justin Fields is out. Trap game. I'd be cautious with them. I'd be very, very cautious with betting Tampa. Ideally, they look good. I'm a little scared with this matchup because Tyrod Taylor scares me as a backup. All right? And I'm a little cautious myself because they sold me last year in week 3. That knocked me out of my last pool. So, I'm a little cautious with Tampa. I said they come off 2 close wins. All those reasons said, I moved them from my second to my third choice. Tampa Bay would be my third choice. You can get them later with Carolina and New Orleans. I wouldn't fault you for taking them. I just would caution you. Now my other 3 choices I like. The Colts against the Titans. If you do believe Daniel Jones is good and you do trust him, I would take the Colts. I don't trust Daniel Jones quite yet. That's me. Okay? I don't. So I'm going to take the Colts as my 4th choice. I might move it up to 3 depending on my feel of both of these games. Knowing what I said about Atlanta and Tampa, you can get them later. The Colts, I might move them up to 3. I'll feel it out. I would assess injury reports if you really feel like the Colts should move up for you. That's me, though. The Chiefs are my 5th choice. Why? Because I feel like if you're going to get the Chiefs, this is the week to do it. No way do they go 0-3. Get Kansas City out of the way, because if they struggle after the Giants, you've picked them and you're good. If you feel like they're going to pick it up later, I would wait then. But I would take the Chiefs as my 5th choice. I don't love them because I think the Giants will hang around and you're going to be sweating. A la back 2 years ago, 2023, week 6. Giants went to Buffalo and I sweated at the 1-yard line and the Bills hung on. I'm not saying it's going to be that type of game. It's going to be similar feel, though. You're going to sweat. Okay? Hey, if you like sweating your survivor pools just to get your adrenaline up a little bit, go ahead. I don't want to take the Chiefs as my top choice. I do see why, though, for some people, but I'm not doing it. That's another one I'm going to feel based on how the week is. I would say I would have the Chiefs as my 5th choice. The Bills would be my 6th choice. Why so low, you say? If you took them against the Jets, don't worry about it. If you didn't take them, you could take them against Miami. I wouldn't yet. Because why? They play the Saints at home next week. I would hammer them that game. That's why. I would wait on the Bills. If you want to take them this week, I'm not knocking you. Go ahead. I would personally wait because I see the Saints game later and go, yeah, take them for that week. That's me, though. That's me, though. Okay? My 7th choice, if you want a little bit more of a risk-type reward, Raiders over the Commanders. Geno hot and cold. He looked cold last week. He's going to go hot this week. If Mariota is playing over Jaden Daniels, I would take the Raiders. Bowers against that Commanders defense. They sucked against Kraft last week with Green Bay. A lot more of a bigger reason for the Raiders. Washington secondary sucks. Take the Raiders. If you want to take a risk this week, I would put them 7th. That's me, though. So let's recap. Seattle is my number 1 choice. Atlanta's number 2. Tampa Bay is number 3. Colts could be 3, depending on if you don't trust Atlanta and Tampa and you want to save them for later. Chiefs could be 5, could be 4, depending on what you want to do. I don't trust the Chiefs, though. Colts, I don't trust Daniel Jones, but some people probably have the Colts top 3. Bills would be 6, save them for later. You're going to get them with the Saints if you're smart. Now, if you took them, don't worry about it. The Raiders, if you want more of a risk. That would be my 7th choice. Seahawks 1, Falcons 2, Bucks 3, Colts 4, Chiefs 5, Bills 6, Raiders 7. That's in that order. That's in my order of what I like this week. Okay? Again, monitor injury reports. Go by what you feel you're comfortable with. Those are my picks. Now, my guarantees quickly. Over 49.5 tonight, Miami Buffalo. Okay? Oh, under 44.5 Rams Eagles. Both offenses are struggling a little bit. Eagles defense, I think, will keep the Rams bottled up. I like the under 44.5 Rams Eagles. Raiders money line to beat the Commanders. I said it earlier. Over 50.5, the best bet. Over 50.5 Cowboys Bears. Over. Okay? And I'm taking the over in the Lions-Ravens, over 53.5. I think both offenses will score. So those are my picks for Survivor, Guarantees, NFL Week 3, College Football Week 4. Enjoy your Thursday night game, everybody. Make sure you guys follow the Lounge Time YouTube channel. Subscribe, like button, then notification bell. You can get all the content you need for this NFL season. We're growing. We are now on Rumble, so you can follow Lounge Time at Rumble as well. So we've got that channel as well. You can also follow me at Lounge Time Pod on X. Yes, I tweet during games. So if you want to ask a question that I'll answer on the show, I'd be more than happy to answer it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Enjoy your college football and NFL weekend, everybody. And I will see you guys on Monday to recap all the action. Have a great weekend, everyone.